Welcome to Cobalt Tutorials. As a membership association, you'll likely want to charge dues for your members. Membership Dynamics offers you a robust yet simple means of charging dues for renewing members. In this video, we'll discuss the first step in this process, configuring your dues cycle. The dues cycle is the entity that will effectively contain your entire dues configuration. To create a dues cycle, navigate to Membership, then click Dues Cycles. Here, you can see all active dues cycles. Click New. You'll need to set the name, default setting, and duration type for the cycle. For name, I'll choose Basic Dues Cycle. I'll set default to Yes. I'll set duration type to Dated. This will change the fields below to begin date and end date. This will allow us to define the duration of this membership renewal as a date range. If we set duration type to termed, the fields below will change to term and term units, which will allow us to define the membership as a set amount of time that doesn't begin on a specific date. This feature is useful if you want a membership to be renewed and commence as soon as the dues are paid rather than on a specific date. For our purposes, we'll stick with dated and set the dates as 3/1/2020 and 3/1/2021. At this point, we can save the record. You can see that the system has thrown a validation message stating that I can only have one default dues cycle. The system requires a dues cycle be set as the default and only one. While this doesn't impact the overall functionality, it often helps the organization keep track of the primary cycle in process at any given time. The validation message means that there is already a default dues cycle in my system, so if I want the cycle to be my default, I'll need to first demote the current default. I could then save this cycle as default. Instead, I'll leave this cycle as default equals no and save. You'll see the toolbar change to include several new options. We'll only discuss one of those new options, Master Query, in this video. First though, let's discuss the last few fields in this record. At the bottom of the record, you'll see the revenue recognition fields. We discussed these fields in an entire video on revenue recognition, so we encourage you to watch that for more information on these fields. The billing year allows you to set what year the payments for these dues belong to, which provides an additional sorting point for dues. This may not be applicable for term dues and is not required. The hide order on portal field will determine the value of the same field on all the orders that are generated for dues. For example, if this field is set to yes, then when you generate your dues, all dues orders will have their hide on portal field set to yes. This is useful if you don't want members to be able to pay their dues on the portal, or if you want to generate dues first, make certain changes, and then make them available on the portal later. Do note that this field isn't dynamic, so if you generate your dues with this field set to yes, you won't be able to set this field to no to update the orders in bulk. Instead, you'll have to select the orders and edit them in bulk through an advanced find. Finally, we return to the Master Query. Navigate to More Commands and click Master Query. This will open an advanced find window. Here, you can set the filtering criteria, which will define all members who are expected to pay dues for this cycle. Don't worry about defining who must pay what dues yet. We'll do that on another record called Dues Schedule. In the Master Query, you'll only want to be sure that your results include every single person who is supposed to pay a dues renewal for this cycle. Thank you for joining us for Cobalt Tutorials.